Imagine spending months extracting the perfect oils, balancing the exact notes, and painstakingly distilling an incredibly rare, valuable perfume. Then, a single fly drops into the vial, dies, and instantly turns the entire batch into a rotting, cloudy mess. That represents the brutal math of human behavior. You can spend decades building a reputation characterized by careful discipline, high skill, and honor. Yet all that compounded effort can be entirely negated by one brief, fleeting moment of stupidity. To understand how to protect ourselves from these sudden catastrophic drops, we are going to track two specific behavioral archetypes, the pragmatist and the fool, through a single highly typical day to see exactly where their choices diverge. Both of these characters have to navigate the exact same baseline reality, a chaotic, deeply unpredictable environment where accidents are frequent and absolutely no one knows what is going to happen tomorrow. Surviving that kind of chaos requires a very specific skill set. It demands that we actively identify and eliminate the hidden contaminants, the dead flies, in our daily routines well before they have the chance to compound and spoil our labor. Let's start the day with physical labor and resource management. Both our pragmatist and our fool face a massive project requiring intense exertion to complete. The fool attacks the problem immediately. They grab the nearest unsharpened tool and try to batter their way through the task using pure, unadulterated brute strength. The pragmatist, however, stops. They pause, sharpen their axes, and map out exactly where the first strike needs to land. Look at this chart comparing energy expended against actual work accomplished. The left side tracks the dull axe. The energy bar plummets rapidly, yielding almost no forward progress. On the right, the sharp axe maintains high energy reserves while generating a massive output. Unsharpened effort guarantees diminishing returns, whereas applied skill acts as a force multiplier. Without that foresight, the fool stumbles blindly from one hazard to the next. They fall directly into pits they spent all morning digging. They break through walls only to get bitten by snakes. Eventually, out of sheer exhaustion, their laziness takes over. Their hands go idle, and the roof begins to rot and cave in. Failing to sharpen your tools or plan ahead transforms your own effort into a series of hazards. Without preparation, the same energy used to build a wall provides the momentum for the snakebite or the fall into the pit. As the day progresses, the physical work transitions into a complex social environment. Both archetypes now have to communicate, negotiate, and interact with others. Here, the pragmatist relies on highly measured, gracious speech. They say exactly what is necessary and nothing more. The fool, by contrast, operates entirely without a filter, filling every silent moment with an endless stream of words. This line graph illustrates the trajectory of the risk of ruin in a conversation. Along the bottom, the data points remain flat and entirely stable. This is the measured speech. But as the fool multiplies their words, the risk curve shoots exponentially upward. By the end of the exchange, it crosses the threshold, filling this massive hazard zone under the curve, turning into wicked madness. In every interpersonal interaction, deliberate verbal restraint serves as an impenetrable protective shield. Excessive talking, on the other hand, virtually guarantees your own self-destruction. Later in the day, a sudden systemic hazard emerges, an unexpected, highly volatile confrontation with an angry, unpredictable leader. The fool's immediate response is to panic. They abandon their post, flee the room, and retreat to their bedroom to secretly curse the leadership. The pragmatist takes the exact opposite approach. They remain firmly anchored to their post, deploying absolute, unflinching calmness to de-escalate the unearned wrath directed at them. The fool's hidden insubordination is uniquely useless. In any complex hierarchical system, secret complaints never stay secret. A passing bird, so to speak, is always waiting to carry those private words straight back to the people in power. Effectively managing upward in a deeply flawed system requires you to master your own internal composure. Responding with emotional outbursts only serves to validate a bad leader's anger and put a target on your back. The day finally ends, allowing us to zoom out and look at the holistic results of these two divergent paths. The physical and mental toll on the fool is staggering. They are utterly exhausted, weary, and completely lost, unable to even find their way back to town because they made every single simple task exponentially harder than it needed to be. The pragmatist finishes the day with their energy intact. They sit down to a well-timed, restorative feast to build their strength back up, avoiding the trap of coping through drunkenness or despair. This brings us to the core underlying anxiety driving this entire framework. No matter how hard we work, the future remains entirely opaque. We simply cannot see what is coming next. In this context, wisdom functions as a highly calculated, pragmatic strategy for surviving daily chaos. It is the practical mechanic that keeps the axe sharp and the words measured when the future remains hidden. We cannot control the inherent hazards of the world around us, but applying deliberate skill over dull force, strictly measuring our words, and maintaining calm restraint is the single most effective way to protect our life's work from being ruined by one momentary lapse into stupidity.